If someone told me like 2 years ago that I would observe what I'm seeing today, I probably wouldn't have believed that. And the reason for that is that I was born in 1965, which was only 20 years after the end of World War II. And I was 24, I believe, when the Berlin Wall fell. And so I was young enough to think that I was going to live in a peaceful, democratic, free world, and that would be forever. And probably my point of view now is still affected by those days in 1989. And I really cannot believe in what I'm saying. Sometimes I have to pinch my cheeks to believe I'm not dreaming. Actually, it's a nightmare. And the reason for that is that I always believed that my liberal democratic values would be stronger, that the thirst for freedom would prevail, and especially that the peoples of the free world would be together. And I've always been a very strong friend of the Americans, of the United States of America, probably because of my generation. That was the place of freedom, the place of adventure, the place of cinema, many beautiful things. And when I hear the person who is supposed to be the head of the free world saying the things he said to President Zelensky in the Oval Office, and when I realize that, the United States of America have suddenly decided to stop from supporting the Ukrainian resistance, including the cybersecurity side, I really cannot believe it. And the reason for that is that I really think, ultimately, who's going to defend our freedoms? I always thought, I just realized it now, that I slept on 4 cushions, 4 pillows, thinking that at the end of the day, the Yankees would come and save us. And you know what, guys? It's not going to happen anymore. To be honest with you, I'm wondering whether Article 5 of the NATO treaty is still there. What would happen if tomorrow Mr. Putin invaded Estonia? Would the US now defend Estonia? What happens if the Suwalki corridor gets closed from Belarus to Kaliningrad? It's only 50 kilometers. What happens there? That, I wouldn't be very happy to test it, to be honest with you, but the question is legitimate. And so, when I look at what's happening in Belarus, I think I agree with you, Knut. Belarus is very current, is very up to date now, because Belarus is, in my eyes, is Ukraine when Putin wins. So we have a living experiment of what happens to Ukraine if Russians win the war. And, I don't think Putin is anyhow interested in rare earths or in Donbass or any territorial conquers. I believe Putin is interested in Ukrainian sovereignty. That's what he wants. He wants a government that he can control. He doesn't want pieces of the land. He wants to rule that side of Europe. And you know what? What's at stake there? It's not just the land. It's our values. Because when I look at the Georgian guys, the Georgian young guys in the squares with our blue starred flag, I get moved. Because I know for them it's not just land, that is our values. Because what makes us Europeans is not just the treaties, is our values. European Union is the land where there's no death penalty. The European Union is the place where healthcare is free, where education is free, when freedoms are the crownstones of who we are. And that's at stake. When the patriarch of Moscow, Kirill, justifies the invasion of Russia because he says that the West is corrupted, that corruption is exactly the values I was mentioning before. And when I see it, what's happening in Georgia, but also what's happening in Moldova and Romania, what's happening in Italy? We have hackers attacking our infrastructure every day, now, while I'm speaking. So the enemy is clear. The problem is, what are the tools we have available to confront them and to constrain them without the US? And now, guys, this is a wake-up call. We have to be together. There's no other choice. Draghi said to the MEPs who were listening to him, "You are asking me what you should be doing? I don't know, but please do something. Do something." I think this is the time when we do something. There's no alternative. TINA. We have to become adult. And I think the things we are doing and all the things you said, thank you for that, especially thank you, Katia, for describing exactly what it is. You know, there is this story that if you put a frog in water and the water keeps becoming hotter and hotter, the frog will not jump out of the pan because they will not realize that they will die. Because autocracies never happen, you know, overnight. They normalize what is not normal by getting us used to things we shouldn't be used to. This is what has happened in Russia. I've been living in Russia. I was working there between 2005 and 2009. I was working in Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan before my political life. So I know the area. And I remember in 2005 living in Russia. I'm a gay man. I was working there with my partner. Yes, not advisable, 100%, but I was a foreigner, I was rich, working for an American bank, you know, I could survive. Now I couldn't go there, of course. I couldn't have gone there even before the war, because as a gay man, as it's happening also in your country with the so-called gay propaganda law legislation, I cannot go there. So I think, you know, just meeting you is, you know, refreshing, and I love being amongst you, because I think this is exactly what we need to do, because we need to help Belarus. We have to stay strong next to you, because you are exactly what's gonna happen to us if we don't stand up for our freedoms. Thank you.
Gracias.